Hello and welcome. We're back. We've just finished round two. So we've had two rounds. The first round had three parts. Let's go to the Rappler editorial team because they made a call on each part of the rounds. I'm going to give you Glenn DeGloria, our managing editor. Can you explain who won which part of round one? Which parts of round one?
Well, for round one, for the part one, we earlier gave it to Senator Poe, and we've explained that earlier. But the part two, which really tackled two very complex issues, which are taxes and Yolanda. Very complex issues, but none of the candidates really tackled them, and they went really off topic, becoming very personal in their attacks against each other. So for that round two, we really didn't find any clear winner there. For round three, the topic zeroed in on two very important issues, crime and the Coco Levy issue. Here, we found Senator Poe not very, but quite defensive. She evaded the very specific question as to whether she indeed supported the bill that would have facilitated the creation of an agency that would help the coconut farmers.
Sorry.
And so
Yeah.
and so she evaded the question, and also in the matter of crime, the crime questions were very addressed in a very simplistic manner, both by Duterte and by Grace Poe. So Mar Rojas came out as a winner both on the Coco Levy issue and on crime. Why? Because he displayed a more nuanced approach to problems like crime, which is really very complicated. It cannot be solved like what the Davao mayor said, like how he did it in Davao, or that Duterte also made a factual error in saying that the drug problem in Muntinlupa came about under the Aquino administration. It's always been there. It's just that under the Aquino administration, they actually raided Muntinlupa and arrested the drug dealers inside the prison. So for that, on the Coco Levy issue and crime, Mar Rojas was the clear winner there.
It seems like the candidates didn't challenge. They challenged each other, but not Duterte as much as.
I think because I guess for Mar, clearly it was really he's looking both at Poe and Binay as his closest rivals in that sense. I think he's trying to frame himself as the alternative to Binay. And Duterte and Binay, that one, well, that's for the next round, right? But they didn't really ask each other tough questions. So there was a love fest there.
Okay.
All right.
Any surprises for you?
This is a bit, a lot of attacks against each other. It's not a surprise, but a lot of off-topic episodes and moments for the candidates, and they're not really. They take the opportunity to answer this question first, but then go off-topic to actually use that very same issue to attack the candidate. So it's a bit, maybe they should stick to the issues in a more presidential manner.
That's interesting. Great. And we'll come back to you later on your reactions to part two, to round two. Let's go to our debate adjudicators. We're back with Nicole Curato, Glenn Tuazon, and Joan De Venecia.
I think the first thing we should ask them is who asked the best question among the candidates.
Who wants to go first?
I don't think we're in agreement here, so I'll start. Okay, so for Grace Poe, for this question, for this round, it's a bit sneaky. We were talking about this. It was a pointed question and it assumes a premise, but I kind of like the strategy.
What
Her question
was the question
basically
again?
is, these are your failures, Secretary Rojas. Now, are these failures the reason why President Aquino doesn't trust you?
Right.
So she presumes that Senator
president
Aquino,
doesn't trust
President Aquino doesn't trust Secretary Rojas.
Yes.
So is this the reason why he doesn't
Yeah.
trust you? So it's a pointed question, quite strategic, quite sneaky. As a lawyer, it's very strategic. Although I don't know if it's gonna sit well with the others.
Did you like Rojas' answer?
You could see that he was scrambling for answers there. Although I think he did as best as he could. Although that's the thing, you presume the premise that the president doesn't trust him, and he admitted it. He said that, well, he bypassed me in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joan, I actually agree with Glenn that the question that Grace posed to Rojas was very, very sneaky and something I didn't expect from her because it was really catty. Like the way she phrased it, she actually said that you're incompetent and then that's why the president doesn't trust you, which are really not questions, but accusations. And then Mara was just left with, well, actually, he really didn't tell me about Mama Sapano. So I don't know how he could really realistically get away from that. Now, but to me, the best question would be Mar's question in the sense that it was presidential and gracious, allowing the vice president the opportunity to explain the corruption charges without accusation. So as far as questions go, I think, well, Mar has been a stickler for rules in this debate. So he really followed the rules and just asked a question without a loaded accusation.
Right,
But
right,
wasn't the
right.
question in itself loaded? He said COA, he said Sandigan Bayan,
The
he
first
said
question.
he never showed up.
That's right. I think that was the response after VP answered. But the first question at least was that now you're given the opportunity to explain yourself in front of the people. The first question at least was gracious.
And Nicole.
Yes, I'm the dissenting opinion here. I
Interesting.
didn't really like the way Senator Poe framed that question, precisely for that reason.
Yeah.
It's sneaky. I think it's borderline unethical, saying that you're incompetent, right? That's the premise. And that the president doesn't trust you. Is that why he didn't tell you about Mama Sapano? I mean, it was sneaky. I didn't like the way, on the level of ethics, I didn't really like that. So I think the best question is from DILG Secretary Rojas, precisely because he didn't only ask or give the opportunity to VP Binay to explain the corruption allegations, but it kind of builds on the narrative that this is what the Aquino administration has done. We went through the process. We had the COA investigate you, we had the Ombudsman investigate you, and these are the accusations. And you never responded to these accusations, and this is your platform to talk about it. So I think it's good that he brought that debate back, because in a way that's really the biggest issue facing Vice President Binay, which is the corruption allegation. So just on that level, I think that was a better question, a more ethical way of framing a question if you're running for president.
So I'm not a debater. A debater would not use tactics like this.
Oh, they would, and I hate those debaters.
They would try to make you look like a fool. So the best way is to really just extricate yourself from that and don't put yourself in a corner.
And did Mar respond well if this was a debate?
The first sentence was really bad. Like he said, I didn't know about it.
He
I was
admitted.
left
Which
out.
is already a concession of the premise. I
Yes.
guess.
Too great.
Exactly.
Which
Right,
the question
right.
assumes again.
Yes.
Right.
Instead of saying because he could have gotten out of that. He could have said,
Let's unpack that.
Teka lang,
let's
teka
unpack
lang.
that,
Right.
or
Let's take a step back.
I
Yeah,
think your
precisely.
premise is wrong.
Right.
And let me tell you why.
Right. He didn't. He stumbled
didn't.
into it, right?
Precisely,
Yeah.
yes.
But I think the other issue that the adjudicators were raising is the refusal of Vice President
Yes.
Binay to ask a question of
Mayor
Duterte.
Again, it's a pattern that we've seen throughout this debate. Nobody wants to take on Mayor Duterte.
Right.
I don't think they see it as strategic at all. So Mayor Binay, I think that may be part of his strategy, and he got something in return. Mayor Duterte basically conceded that
He's more
that
qualified.
VP Binay is a qualified leader. So we were talking about how strictly in a debate, if you skip your speech, that's a zero. You're
Right.
basically gonna go to bin room the next round.
yeah.
But in practice, you can waive your cross-examination. That's a strategy.
So quick, who won this part of round two?
With one dissenting vote, Grace Poe.
Graceful.
Grace Poe.
With one
Okay,
dissent.
we're going back to the debate, and this is the second part of round two.